Right guys, welcome back to another episode of Map TV. Today we're going to be fitting this Whipple Supercharger onto Tom Green's car. It's a 2.9 Whipple Supercharger. We've got the full kit to fit. In last week's episode you saw me fitting the MMR oil pump and crank gear and the uprated MMR front cover assembly, the timing chain guys and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's a sick looking supercharger. Tom specifically got it in this nice candy red to match his brake calipers. So yeah, it's going to look awesome. We're going to get it on the car today. So yeah, let's crack on. Right, we've got the tensioner bracket on with all the pulleys for the supercharger kit. We've done all the plumbing for the coolant and the water hose and stuff like that, so the engine's all back in one piece. So now we're going to be taking the actual supercharger unit off the intake manifold. We've already fitted the actual gas kicks along the bottom of the intake manifold, so we'll take this off, fit the intake manifold to the car and get all that torqued up properly, and then we can start fitting the injectors and fuel lines, and then this will go on after the intake manifold. So yeah, we'll start taking this apart and get it all on the car and fitted. So these are the fuel rails supplied by Whipple, one piece billet aluminium, so the high flow fuel rails, good flow rate, with the DW 750 injectors. Obviously we've got 8 of these because we've got an 8-cylinder engine, so that's the DW injector based on the Bosch EV14. It's obviously just DW's version, and then obviously you've got your quick connect fittings with 5-ton O-rings that go on, stopping any nasty leaks. So we'll get the fuel rails built up with the injecting and stuff, and all the O-rings and stuff all lubed properly, and then we can attach them to the intake manifold, torque them all up to spec, and then get the connecting fuel lines all connected up, and then that's it for the intake manifold really. Everything else is on the car now, and then we can start thinking about getting the head unit on after we've put some oil in it and stuff, so get on to the good bit. Right guys, so the supercharger unit's all installed onto the car now, the belt's on, all tensioned up properly. There's a few bits that are left to do with the supercharger install, like fitting the airbox and the carbon jack cover and all that sort of stuff. Oil pump and crank gear, they're all installed. The full MMR front cover assembly upgrade is all fitted and torqued to spec. The oil pump and crank gear is something that we recommend with all supercharger installs. It's one of them, people are always like, is it safe to have it without, blah, blah, blah. But it's one of them things where it's fine until it's not. So one day you might go out in it, hard gear shift from like 3rd to 4th, get some nice traction on back end, and you could actually shatter an oil pump gear, or even worse, rip the teeth off the crank timing sprocket. Either of them two happens, it's basically a catastrophic engine failure. You're either going to bend every single valve in engine or have bearing failure. So either one of them obviously going to end up in a replacement engine or engine rebuild, and it's going to cost you a lot of money. It's better to protect the engine in the first place, do all the right things while you're having the supercharger installed, that way you know you're protected. If you're just going to be doing like the stock stage 2, then the MMR chain guides and stuff, it's a nice upgrade, but unless you're planning on going big power in the future, it's not really necessary. But if you're planning on going big power with the car, then you want to be doing the full MMR upgrade kit. So yeah, all that's all installed now. we plan on taking this to some pretty high power levels, so that's why this has been spec'd like this. Get all the last bits and bats installed onto this now, and then yeah, we should be close to getting it back up and running. So right guys, that's it for this episode. Tune into next week where we'll get this car up and running onto the dyno and we'll do some tuning, so we'll see you there.